Sweat Lodge purification ceremony has been a vital part of American Indian life for centuries. More than any other, it remains a central part of Indian spiritual life.
The sweat ceremony, there's a lot of descriptions for it. I mean, there's a lot of names attached to that little ceremony. You know, we call it a purification rite, Inipi, place to be born again, Mukantipi, the lodge of the first ones, Oinikare, place to come to life, rebirth. The dome shape represents the universe. It represents the womb, because you go in there naked and you come out reborn again. Well, there's several major or necessary elements to it, like the stone, the fire, the water.
Okay.
So the sweat ceremony is a very common ceremony. They always say that it belongs to the Ikchewichashka, the common man or the ordinary or the average. When you need spiritual, even physical strength, you heat your rocks and you go in there and you pray and you revive yourself. It's a place to meditate, a place to be alone. Even if you have 10 people in there with you, you're still alone in there with your individual prayers and needs.
Mitakwe means all my relatives or all my relations. That's what we usually say in ceremonies or sweat lodge. All my relatives, that's a lot of things. You all relatives. We all relatives in this world. Mitake means my relation. My relation. Mitake. All my relatives is Mitake Oyase. That's whole. That's everything right there.
In a sweat ceremony or healing ceremony, whatever, you say all my relatives, addressing that spirit in every creation, whether it's a blade of grass or tree or river, whatever, that's God.
Like I say, you have to pray and whatever you need. And them stones inside the sweat, well, they'll know. The stone people, we always say. Iyanwichasha means the stone people. So we usually pray to them.
For centuries, tribal people on the North American continent have lived in respect and harmony with nature. The rich cultural inheritance of the Lakotas is handed down from tribal elders to the younger generations through song, dance, the oral tradition, and the practice of sacred ceremonies. Ben Black Bear Sr. dedicated his life to the preservation and revival of his people's traditional ways and identity on the Rosebud Reservation and throughout the entire Sioux Nation. This program is presented in his honor and in honor of the people today who live the Lakota life and remember the ways of their ancestors. Song and dance provides a vital, direct method of celebrating the ideals of Lakota warrior society.
This is the Indian traditional way, Lakota, Rosebud Reservation. Not Pine Ridge, not Go Butte, no place. It's Rosebud Reservation. Make it vote for this one.
Ben is a Rosebud Sioux himself. He was born and raised at Ironwood Creek. That's west of the river. And Ben is always the kind of man that liked to carry on his traditional works.
Lakota le olon hechalo. Toka iya ahia pelo.
Every night we, like after supper, my dad would sit there and he'd talk, preach to us, you know, about old stories or we were just little bitty ones and we used to dance. And he just loved to sing. He used to just sing and lay there in his bed and just sing and sing, and we'd be dancing.
Lakota music and the songs are the most pure way of transferring Lakota culture and values and basically attitudes about life.
They sing of somebody way back before reservation time when the people were moving about. Or since that time, they remember somebody. Somebody is remembered in a song. And this way, you know, we know about the past history as well through dances or through songs. A certain part of a song makes you feel good because of the words. And those words tell you something. They tell you a story. So you actually act out something while you're dancing. The drum is the heart of the Lakota people. Guys who sing, or the drum keepers, you know, they have to know what it's all about. They have to know this stuff. I put a lot of respect into my dances. I will do it in such a way that, you know, I will tell a story myself, you know, keyed to what the song is about. And by doing those kind of dances, you know, we know our history.
The U.S. cavalry was basically coming after us, and they were cornering us, you know, surrounding us, so we had to fight our way out of it. Yeah. So that's basically what the words of the song say. And it also says, friends are crying, you know, kola cheapelo. I kind of think that refers basically to the people that we are fighting. They are people like us, but we have to fight them. Lakota society was basically a warrior society in the old days. You know, of necessity, it had to be, if it's only for survival.
The end product was to be a warrior, and then to have within you qualities of leadership, not only your hunting and warrior skills, but also the idea of generosity, bravery, courage, and wisdom.
The values that you learn as a warrior are the same values that you use in life. In the old society, we talked about being a great warrior, a courageous man, and a great hunter, and so forth. In order to become that, you have to sort of build yourself up from the inside out, you know. So the values sort of go into deep inside your heart.
There's more to being a warrior than going out and killing somebody.
In the old days, they used to have different types of warrior societies that warriors and their families belonged to. A lot of the songs that they developed there were victory songs or war songs.
We tell our own story in the first place as warriors. See, I'm a warrior, so I would tell a story, a sneak up on the enemy for one thing. And then, you charge. So we put a lot of action into it.
In the same way that a person's experiences, dreams, and visions are expressed through dance and song, Lakota literature lives in the telling and retelling of stories by elders to Lakota youth. This oral tradition remains alive through myth and folk legend.
I'm old and my wife, so I want to teach for young generation, young people, show him out. Not too much, just feel, show him. And teach.
When we talk about oral tradition, we're talking about one of the most important aspects of our culture. At one time, it used to be the most important part of our cultural heritage, because most of our educational process was channeled through the oral tradition. Primarily, the storyteller is still the elderly people.
My grandmother once said, the old people never shut up. Because one of the parents was so quiet. She said that. She kind of got mad at that person. She said, you are supposed to keep talking. That's the only way that the young will grow up good.
The way that you pass on knowledge traditionally is that you pass it on through music, through stories, and through just what they call woahukonkie. You sit down with your son or your daughter, your children every day, and you just keep telling them stories and telling them these things, and giving them advice and stuff.
I was lucky that my grandfather and my grandmother raised me, and they teach me all the things that they know how,
Today, things have changed, because there's really a big gap between the grandparent generation and the grandchildren generation, mainly because of the acculturation process, the attempt to eliminate, the extended family system, and trying to replace it with the compact American idea of a family system.
And that song in English means, mother come back, my little baby brother's crying. This is a story about a young man, maybe a teenage boy around 14 or someplace around there, and a baby brother. And here the mother told the boy, he said, tomorrow I won't be here. So you just take care of your little brother and watch him and take care of him and always sing to him and don't let him cry. Ina hekuo, miso kalachea. I have a little trakoja, and it's my niece, it's a little daughter. She's just a little mother. She's so sweet. She's just a little mother. We see a lot of them today. It's sad.
About 30% of our people are at a level where we call incomplete nuclear families. We only have one singular head of the household. The child is either illegitimate or divorced, or the other mate is dead.
We got a girl here that we raised her when she was about 3 weeks old. We found her, and I and my brother here, we took her in and we raised her, and we never teach her any English or words, We just teach in our way of life.
We need to educate the people on these issues. We need to go out and tell them that we have to go back and rely on the family as the primary source of education, you see.
Our dad told us stories. Our grandfather told us stories. My grandmother told stories. And so it's just like watching TV, but only we use our ears.
All are moral stories. And that has to do with morality. The character is always the Iktomi. He's the most common name that's used in tricking people and how it backfires on him.
We used to listen about Iktomi when he went on honeymoon with his mother-in-law. And of course, they had a lot of children. They came home and Iktomi went and trying to deny it and kill all the little kids. These are kind of bad, to hear. But these are the things that we are told, that we might be aware of those things, that we'll take care of ourselves from them.
Iktomi stories continue to resonate in today's world. Living Indian today means coexisting with American society. Indians believe in the common ownership of land and that possessions are to be shared, however poor the owner. This is in direct contradiction of the American view of private ownership, and contemporary American Indians have problems in transmitting the Indian way of life to their children.
Whenever you talk Indian, you talk 200 years ago. That was that time. Okay. And because of that, the public in general don't believe I'm an Indian. My kids don't believe they're Indians because they don't have feathers, they don't have breechcloth. So I think today we really need to work on some things that is going to tell us what is an Indian today.
You'll never change me as an Indian. You never will change me, because that is the way I was made. But when I come home, I'm Indian. I work my rawhides, beadwork, or hunting. I go hunting on foot. I go out there, and that's my world. That's my Indian world.
I used to run four big ranches, cattle ranches. I used to be a foreman, and I had about 30 white people working under me. And that's how I learned how to live, and I learned how to cheat, and I know how to make money. I used to have 6,000 acres around here leasing, and I had about 300 head of cows, and getting older, and that's not the way of living, So I sold everything, and come back to where I was supposed to, and from there on, I live a whole lot better.
So much power is around us that all that energy is turned inward. They raise us to be workers, people who follow directions. They put a lot of fear of God in us to control us. The government, the police force come down pretty strong. You can only do that to a certain point before it explodes.
I don't want to be a confused Indian. So I retain my own identity as an Indian, so that I can be a happier, much happier man by living my own cultural ways.
We're trying to revive the women's role today. They're very important in our culture. They're the representatives of the earth, Mother Earth. And if they can only realize how much power they have to help the people. And I think a lot of our young women need to go back and learn that. Because without them, we'll lose a lot of power, spiritual power.
A lot of the younger folks want to learn their Indian culture now, language. They want to learn the language because it's important that they do that, to be an Indian, to remain an Indian. Because with the Lakota language, you get to understand a lot of things. The identity is very important. They have to know who they are. They have to know something about themselves.
The world of the contemporary Indian is as rich in visions and spirit powers as that of their ancestors. medicine men and women carry on a vital tradition of healing, aided by communication with the spirit world which is revealed through vision. Spirituality informs every aspect of Lakota worldview.
Us Indian people are religious people every day. That when we wake up, you know, we remember the Great Spirit, you know. Always pipe is first all the time in this world. We use it first. I don't care where we go. But you gotta believe. The peace pipes are traditional. You have to believe.
We load the pipe and we ask the animal nations to help us. So it's an instrument for daily needs, for daily health.
In the old days, medicine plants, or the herbs are a common knowledge among the people. They have to be. When they go on the warpath, they carry a certain kind of type of herb that will stop the flow of blood if they get wounded.
People who administer medicine, they're very knowledgeable of roots, all kinds of herbs that has medicinal powers, and they have a special gift to administer that. They're called Pejuta Vichasha.
There's medicines here in every place, but we don't know. Unless the spirits tell us.
The spirits would pick an individual and say, you're going to be our friend because the people need that help, and you're going to be our instrument.
So that's we have to work under the spirits all the time. That's the only way. They have to give us permission to do, then we could use it. Without permission, we can't do nothing.
So we don't have a word for animals. We call them nations. The eagle nation, the deer nation, or the elk nation, the coyote nation. So a medicine man might have a helper from one of those nations.
Spiders are one of my friends, he told me. They're the one that gave me vision to work. And every place I go, there's one with me all the time.
As I understand it, once the spirit picks you, they won't let you go. So some of them who finally took the final step and go on a vision quest to receive the instructions, they made a real radical change overnight, from one lifestyle to another.
Vision is a lot of things. Each animal's got a different ways. Like the first day they took me up there that evening, the coyote, that's the first one come up to me. I heard a coyote howling from north. And I know it's coming, so I know it. Come each time, come close. And then he come to real close, and then he changed himself a man. And then he told me about the dirt. I've been using it in ceremonies. In the altar, I use some dirt. And he showed me where to get and all this. So every day, every night or daytime, somebody come to me and told me how to use it. I had an eagle bone whistle and eagle feather right there. Told me put it right there in the altar. It belonged to the spotted eagles.
The spotted eagle. He is in just about every ceremony that I have attended. His spirit comes in.
That's a sacred, dangerous for Indian.
Yeah.
Eagle. Eagle whistle and eagle head and eagle feathers, claws.
Yeah.
That's why I don't use it.
In the dance.
You know, that's eagle wings.
Yeah.
That's turkey feathers.
Yeah.
And I use it for plastic
Whistle, yeah.
whistle.
Yeah.
So
And he'll say, make these offerings because I live in between. I communicate with God.
If you take one hoop, it represents like one person. Okay, and then you bring more hoops, you bring more people. The more hoops you bring, the stronger that is. And you notice the people, the more help they get, the stronger they are. There's a story about the hoop dance, and it's supposed to represent an eagle. When an eagle was brought into this life, an eagle was started from a shell, and that shell opens up, and how the eagle flies from that shell and flies higher and higher than any other bird.
Live and Remember was made possible in part by grants from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, the Central Educational Network, and the South Dakota Committee on the Humanities.